Thank you, sir.
But these recordings are available for you.
Sir, it should be, sir. Yes, searching.
Fine. Okay. Okay. Next, what we will be discussing is longitudinal center of flotation, LCF, or simply F. Okay, you must have already discussed what is LCG and LCB, longitudinal center of gravity, longitudinal center of buoyancy. Okay, now this is one more new term, which is LCF. Okay, let's see what it is. This is at the geometric center of the ship's water plane area. So remember, if you have a ship's water plane area, this is the geometric center of that water plane area and is the point at which the ship will trim. Okay, and is the point at which the ship will trim. We have been talking about trim throughout the entire 2-3 sessions about trim. So LCF plays an important role because it is by this axis, by this pivot, the point F, the whole trim of the ship goes up and down. If you say this is the ship, if this is your F, this will be your pivot. Okay, by this axis only your vessel goes up and down in the longitudinal axis. Okay, so it acts as a pivot. If you take it as a seesaw, this is your F. Okay, now F value, it doesn't have to be at the center. It can be anywhere, maybe little aft also, or little forward also. Okay, it depends on where the weights have been distributed and how the weights are being shifted from one place to the other. LCF value changes accordingly. Now LCF values also can be obtained from the hydrostatic tables. You see here, this is a hydrostatic table where AF is called actually the LCF. Now, why is it named as AF in the table is, if you remember, I already told you, all stability data, whatever it is being displayed in the hydrostatic tables, is with a reference from the aft perpendicular. Okay, means distance from aft perpendicular to the center of flotation. So that distance only. Now you can see here LCF values keeps changing with the drafts. For various drafts, the LCF value changes. So you can clearly say that LCF also depends on the water plane area because it is the geometric center of water plane area, and water plane area is going to change with the drafts. So that is why you can say that LCF value also changes here. You can see for 3 meters, it is 72.127. Okay. So LCF changes with the water plane area. You will have various water plane areas and it keeps changing as the shape and size of the ship changes. Now the position of the LCF is always quoted whenever you have a problem. LCF is always quoted as like so many meters forward of aft perpendicular. Okay. Now if I say that it will be as FOAP, forward of aft perpendicular. Now supposing I say my LCF of my ship is 70 FOAP, means what does it mean?
70 meters from aft perpendicular.
Okay, 70 meters from aft perpendicular till where?
Till flotation, longitudinal center of flotation.
Yeah, till LCF, or you can say F also, not a problem. Okay, so supposing this is my aft perpendicular. Okay, when I say it is my LCF is 70 meters, FOAP means from aft perpendicular, my LCF position is 70 meters. That is up to this, the distance is 70 meters. Okay, that is what LCF means when you take it in the draft. In the draft, if it is given as 30 at 3 meters, it is 72 means the distance from the aft perpendicular where the flotation is there, where the value of F is there, because it is this value, or sorry, it is this position of F which determines how will the vessel trim. Now we will be seeing we will be taking two conditions to assess the trim. Okay, the first condition is when the LCF is at midship. Okay, midship means at the center. And next condition what we'll be discussing is when LCF is not at midship, means the F is not at midship, it is somewhere here aft, or maybe it can be forward also. So we will be discussing these two parameters to see how the position of F affects the trim of the ship. Because we already said that it is due to the position of the F only, entire trim of the vessel is there. So when this position changes, how does the trim of the ship change? So let's take the first condition where the LCF is at midship. Now this is, we have taken a picture where this is your aft perpendicular. From now onwards, whatever it is, everything will be with reference to aft perpendicular. Whatever distance LCG, LCB, LCF, whatever data we take, it will be from aft perpendicular. Okay, this is your aft perpendicular, this is your forward perpendicular, and this is your midship. Okay, this is your midship, and my LCF position, F position is also at the midship only. Now change of trim, we already saw what is the formula, which is W into T by MC TC. Now what we have to do, we have taken a weight over here, we will be shifting it forward. Now obviously what happens when you shift a weight from aft to forward, your forward draft is going to increase and aft draft is going to decrease. Now here what I have done, this line is the new water line. Okay, the previous one, instead of changing the ship, I have changed the water line. So there is an increase in the forward draft. If you see from here to here is the forward draft. The draft has increased in the forward section. Here the draft has decreased. Now this TF is the change in draft. TF we are going to represent it as if the change in draft forward due to the trim. And TA is the change in draft aft. How much is the change? We will be representing it as TF and TA. Trim forward or trim aft. TA is the change in draft aft and TF is the change in draft forward. Now why are we introducing this LCF position is, till now we were discussing, we used to do only, we had an initial trim, we had a final trim, and we got the change of trim. But here now, here with the drafts we got trim. Already forward aft drafts we know, initial draft we know, final draft we know. But now what we are going to do is, we will be knowing only the initial draft. Okay, now let's take my initial draft is forward 5 meters and my final draft is aft 6 meters. Okay, so in this case we need to find the change of trim and then find out the final drafts, how it is, what it is. Okay, so for that only we are introducing this LCF thing, where we are discussing where the position of F is at midship. So I got my initial drafts, they have told you to find the final drafts. So for that what we will do, we will first find out the change of trim. Right, change of trim formula we know, which is W into D by MCTC. So once we find out the change of trim, let's say my change of trim is 20 centimeter. Okay, now I know my forward draft and aft draft. I know the entire change of trim. But now if I ask you what is my final trim, or if I ask you what is my final drafts, Will you be able to tell what is the final drafts forward and aft? No, because we know the entire change of trim only. We don't know this 20 centimeters, how much to apply forward, that is this TF, and how much to apply in the aft section. We know one thing for sure, that since we have shifted the weight from aft to forward, what is going to happen? My forward draft will increase. You agree with that?
Yes, sir.
And my aft draft will decrease. Only thing I know is due to the weight shift, my forward draft will increase and aft draft will decrease. But I don't know how much it is going to increase, and in aft how much it is going to decrease. But I know the entire change. Okay, so I know the entire change, but I don't know what correction to be applied in forward and aft. So then what I do, I see where is my F position. My F position is given at midship. So then when F position is given at midship, the correction to be applied is, if the LCF is midship, the change of trim will be apportioned equally to the drafts forward and aft. Okay, meaning TA is change of trim by 2, which is 20 by 2, and TF is change of trim by 2, 20 by 2. So it will be distributed equally. Equally means 10 centimeter correction will go for the forward draft, and remaining 10 centimeters will go for the aft draft. Okay, so now I know the correction, how much to be applied, because my F position is at the midship. They have told me that you can distribute it equally to the forward and aft drafts. Now I know forward I have to give 10 centimeters and aft I am giving 10 centimeters. Now tell me what is the final draft. What will be my final draft?
For forward 5.1
Okay, forward 5.1.
and then aft it will be for 5.9.
Okay, very good. So when I distribute 10 centimeters equally, why I'm increasing my forward draft? Because my weight is shifted from aft to forward. So my forward draft will increase. I didn't know how much it will increase. So I distributed equally. Now I know how much to increase. So my draft will become forward 5.10 and aft will become, aft I will subtract, it will become 5.90. Understood?
Yes, sir.
I hope all others is also following. If you have a doubt, just we will do an example with similar fashion what we did now. A ship floats at draft forward and aft 6.8. So your initial drafts are given to you, and determine the final drafts if 25 tons is moved forward. Okay, so you can draw a box shape vessel. Okay, and let's say this is my midship. So here you have the initial drafts are given. 25 tons is moved forward, means initial weight is at this turn and it is being moved forward. So I know that when it is being moved forward, my forward draft will increase and my aft draft will decrease because the weight is being shifted forward. MCTC value is given to me and LCF is midship. So if this is my midship, my F value is here only at the midship. So first, as always, what we will do, we will calculate the change of trim, which is W into D by MCTC, 25 into 45 by 112, which will give me 10 centimeters by head. Now, why it is by head?
Because weight is moved forward.
Yeah, okay.
From
Because
midship.
since we have a weight in the aft section and it is being shifted forward, so my change of trim will be whatever it is by head. So now I got the entire change of trim correction. but I don't know how much to apply forward and aft. So, but what does it say? When LCF is at midship, you apportion it equally. The change of trim, whatever you get, has to be proportioned equally to forward and aft drafts. So yeah, my formula is trim aft is COT by 2, which will give me 5 centimeters. And my trim aft correction will be again 5 centimeters. Now I have got my corrections equally 5 and 5. So what should I do to my forward and aft drafts? Whether I will add or subtract to both drafts.
Aft will get subtracted, forward will get added, sir.
Okay, fine, good. So forward you will be adding it, okay, and aft you will be subtracting it. The reason being, I am shifting the weights from aft to forward. When I shift the weights from aft to forward, my forward draft will increase. How much it is going to increase, I have already found out, by 5 centimeters. So it will be, forward correction will be plus 5 centimeters. And my aft draft is obviously going to decrease. So that will be minus. So I will apply it to my initial drafts. This is my initial drafts. I'll apply the correction and get my final drafts. Understood on this? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Such.
Okay. So then what was the next thing which we wanted to discuss? First thing we discussed when LCF is at midship. So next what it is?
LCF at different positions.
Yeah. LCF, when LCF is not at midship. It can be anywhere. Now here we will take the same example. This is your aft perpendicular, this is your forward perpendicular, and this is your midship. Okay. We have taken a point where F is here. When F is here, it means when you look at the picture, it is actually aft of midship at this point. Now what we are going to do, again, we are going to take the same example of shifting the weights from aft to forward. So my forward draft will increase and my aft draft will decrease. Now change of trim, for finding out, we have the formula. Now the concept wise it will be the same, or logic wise it will be the same thing which we'll be applying here. Only thing what happens, since your LCF is not at midship, there when it was at midship we used to distribute it equally, the correction, but here we may not distribute it equally because my LCF position has changed. So in order to find that, we need to derive some formula, okay, to see how to find out the corrections. So let's see that. Now this is your aft perpendicular and this is your forward perpendicular. Now tell me, what is the distance between aft perpendicular and forward perpendicular called?
AP and FP.
Sorry?
AP and FP.
I know it is AP and FP, man. What is the distance between those is called? Between aft perpendicular and forward perpendicular, what is the distance called?
LPP.
Yeah, LBP, length between perpendiculars. Okay. The distance between your aft perpendicular and forward perpendicular is called LBP. Now let's take my LBP of my ship is 100 meters. Okay. I have marked my aft perpendicular forward and my distance LBP is 100 meters. So now if I take, this is my midship. Now my midship will be 50. Okay. Now I have marked a position F over here. Okay. F is somewhere here. Now what do you think the value of f will be anything less than 50, right? It can be anything from 49 to 50, anything less than 50, 49 to whatever it is. Now let's take in this example, let's say my f position is 40. Yeah, somebody's mic is on, man. Okay, here in this condition, my f position is aft of midship. This is midship, aft of midship. So my f position, let's say it is at 40. Okay. So the value of A is from aft perpendicular to F, okay, to the flotation, the distance we will mark it as A. Okay, so A in this our case is 40 actually, because we know the distance from aft perpendicular to F is 40. The remaining distance from F to forward perpendicular, we will name it as small f. So if this is 40, what will be small f?
60.
60. Okay, because my LBP is 100 meters. So I know from half perpendicular to here it is 40. So remaining it will be 60 over here. Okay. Now tell me, like, when I say A is equal to 40, can we also say that this A is actually equal to LCF? What do you mean by LCF?
Yes, sir.
So LCF, you already know that LCF is the distance from half perpendicular to the center of flotation, right? So whenever we say A is equal to 40, it implies that the LCF value is 40. Okay. Why? Because I'm telling you, because in the problems, it won't be given as the value of A is equal to 40. The value will be given as LCF value is 40 meters FOAP. So then you will understand that, yes, I know if LCF is 40 meters FOAP, then my A value is also equal to 40, because both implies the same. Just for understanding, because we will be using this in the formula A and F. To differentiate it, we have just named it as A and F, whereas this value is actually LCF, and the remaining is 100 minus LCF, whatever it is, the small f value. So A is the length of the ship aft of LCF, and F is the length of the ship forward of the LCF. Whatever aft portion is A and the forward portion is F. Okay, so no need to go on this derivation part. Finally, what we get the formula is trim aft is A by LBP into change of trim. Okay, here A is, we already saw, it is basically the LCF value which will be given in the question, by LBP into change of trim. Again, TF will be F, the remaining portion, by LBP into change of trim. So we will be using these two formulas to find out the correction value when my F position is not at midship. In the previous one, it was T and TVP CO2 by 2 and CO2 by 2, half. But here, since my F position is not at center, we have derived a formula, and my final formula is this. We'll be taking this formula to find out the corrections. Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. So let's do one problem. Here also the concept is same as we did the last problem. Okay, you're going to just find out the change of trim. You're going to find out the corrections forward and aft. Only thing there, we distributed it equally. Here there might be some difference. Okay, one might be more and one might be less. The ship has an initial draft 10.25 and 10.15. A weight of 95 tons is moved aft. So you can draw a picture. Always for all these trim problems, try to do a sketch. Okay, then only it will make your understanding better, and you will know where how the weights are being shifted and how the drafts are changing. So here it is said a weight of 95 tons is moved aft, means from forward it is being moved aft. So when from forward it is being moved aft, my forward draft is going to decrease and my aft draft is going to increase. Okay, so that thing is clear. If you take this as a vessel, this will be my midship. Now it's moved through a distance of 42 meters. So my D value is known. Calculate the final drafts. Given that LBP is 100 meters. Now LBP is 100 meters, which is already given to us. Okay. Next, LCF is 48 meters FOAP. Okay. So now here, since this is my midship and my LBP is 100, I know my midship is 50. Okay. My LCF value is given as 48 meters FOAP. What does it mean?
So 48 meters from the half perpendicular to the flotation.
Okay, from the aft perpendicular to the flotation. So when you see the position of F, whether it is aft of midship or forward of midship.
Aft, sir.
Yeah, aft of midship, because I already know my midship is at 50. When LCF is at 48, obviously it is from aft perpendicular till here, might be somewhere close to here. Okay, so this is 48. So my F is somewhere here. Okay, so this distance from aft perpendicular to forward to F is 48. So when I say LCF is 48, can I take this as this value to be A, small a?
Yes, sir.
Fine. I take this value to be small a because I already told you it is equal to LCF. So when this is A, what is the value of F?
52.
Fine. The remaining distance from here to here, which is 52. Because your LBP minus 48, value of A will give you the value of F, 52. Now one more thing, I want you to ask one more. Now let's say instead of this F value being here, if the F was here, okay, and I say my LCF is 60 meters FOAP. Okay, so what does it mean?
LCF is 16 meters from the aft perpendicular to the center of rotation.
Okay, good. It is from aft perpendicular to center of flotation. So in that case, what will be my value of A?
60 meters.
Fine, it will be same because it is basically equal to LCF. So from here up to here, up to this position will be my value of A. Okay, so then what will be my F position, F value?
40.
40. Okay, so that is what I wanted you to understand, because it doesn't matter where your F position is, whether it is aft of midship or forward of midship. If LCF value is given to you, that will be equal to A. Okay, and the remaining, when you subtract it from your LBP, will be the value of F. Now, as we go slowly into other problems, this value of F matters where it is, whether it is aft of midship or forward of midship, because we will go into multiple weight problems and all. That time it matters. But for the time being, you just have to worry about what is LCF and where is it, that's all. In our case, we know what is A is 48 and we found out small f to be 52. A change of trim is W into D by MCTC, which will give me 14 centimeters by stern. Now why by stern? Because I have shifted the weight from forward to aft. Okay. So now in the previous example, what we did, this 14 centimeters was distributed equally. But here we cannot distribute it equally because my F is not at midship. It is somewhere aft of the midship. So I will be using the formula for trim correction aft. TAR, I will be using this formula A by LBP into change of trim. A we already know is 48. Change of trim is 14 centimeter and my LBP is 100 meters. So the value what I get is 6.7 centimeters. Remember this also you will get it in centimeters. Next trim forward correction, which is F by LBP into change of trim. So 52 into 14 by 100 will give me 7.3 centimeters. Okay, so now tell me I got the corrections for forward and aft. What should I do? Whether I should add or subtract to corresponding drafts?
So the forward will be reduced and the aft will be increased, like added.
Okay, so forward you will be subtracting the correction and aft you will be adding the correction. Reason being the weight is shifted aft. So my aft draft will increase. Okay, so trim correction aft, always try to write it with the symbol so that you don't you have a clarity on what you're doing. Write it as plus 0.067, convert it into meters. And forward write it as minus 0.073. And then apply the correction to the initial and forward drafts. You will get your final drafts. Okay. Understood on this? Any doubts in what we discussed now?
No, sir.
Fine. Okay. So I guess we will stop with this. So today we discussed MCTC. We did change of trim formula, new formula. We also saw what is the formula for MCTC. Then we discussed a new concept on LCF. What do you mean by LCF? Because LCF is the important factor by which the trim of the vessel changes with the position of F. So with the position of F, we saw when it is at midship, how the trim gets affected. When it is not at midship, how the trim gets affected. Okay. I hope all others are able to follow. Just keep following because this is very basic and this is very simple problems what we are discussing now. If you don't get your basics right or your basics strong, as we go, it will become very difficult because as we go, we will be going into multiple problems with all parameters coming inside. Here only you have very small parameters which is coming inside. Once you keep on going, lot of LCG, LCF, LCB, everything will come inside. So just get your basics strong. Whenever finish your classes, go back and revise again. Okay. There are 3 absentees of what? Anirudh, Felix, and Hari Murugan. 34,
Yes, sir.
34 here, and but I see here 36 are present, and but whereas attendees I see only 34.
Who has some network issues, sir? They have been in hold, sir.
Okay. Means hold means in the sense like they are able to listen to the lecture, or they are already out.
They can,
No,
they
sir, they
can
are
listen
able
to the
to.
lecture, but their mic is not working. So that's
Okay, fine. Fine. We still have another 5 more minutes, 5-10 minutes. You guys have any doubts to discuss or anything else? Normally, when will be your CAT 1?
normal college days. You are asking, sir?
Yeah. Normally, if the college is there, when will be your CAT 1 exams?
Yeah, by September, sir. September. Yeah.
Okay,
Mid
by
of,
September. Okay, fine. By September end,
middle, sir. Mid of September.
mid of September, and your CAT 2 will be
Like October or
Oh,
October, yeah, sir. Like October or starting of October.
okay, fine. So okay, fine. And by November end, I think your semester will
Model,
complete.
model
exam.
exams this semester. Sir.
Okay, fine. How are your other classes going?
All good, sir.
Okay. But how about other universities? Any news on other Wales University or anything, whether when they are starting or anything?
Classes you are telling or which one, sir?
No, means college only.
No, like they
Not
didn't
this
complete
year,
the semester exam at all, sir. Till now,
Sorry?
they didn't complete their semester exam itself, sir.
Oh, okay, fine. Okay, then at least then I think we are much way ahead of them.
Yes.
Okay. But let's see, like looks like maybe now government has freed everything. So I guess by November end or something, or by December at least, we should be able to start the college. I hope so. Let's see.
Yes, sir.
But
Positively.
but
Chennai, let's see.
no, it is not with respect to Chennai only, because in all other places also cases are there, and this corona thing is not that it is not going to go off, because it's not that next in 1 or 2 months you say that no, corona is totally gone. No, it will be there. It will be there at least for, let's say, another 6 months or 1 year. But only thing what happens, like slowly, maybe by December, if you are able to find a vaccine or something else, then it should be a good news. Or else even now, if you see, government has opened everything. Only thing, interstate travel, it is stopped. Whereas in between states, everything has started, right? Even transportation, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So how about in places in north? Same?
Yes, same, sir, but like more cases.
Yeah, cases will always be there. Cases, it won't reduce at all, because as you keep increasing, cases will also increase. But we have to, we have already come to the stage that we have to start living with it. It's not that it cannot be, it will become a part of life. Something like a common cold, flu, or anything. Corona also will become the same. Because if you want to, completely eradicate it, it won't be very much soon. Only then we can start the college. Means I think your entire third year will complete in online classes only.
Because other engineering or normal arts college they can start, sir. But ours is like a residential, no, like hostels. They have to stay.
Come
They
on,
might
man.
think.
Do you think only Amet has residential? Do you think no colleges in Chennai have hostels?
No, they have, sir. But like for residential colleges, they might think to open later, maybe.
Yeah, even for other colleges, they have hostels and people are staying in hostels, right? So even that is residential, right? So
Yeah. Yes, sir.
it's not something like only Amet has got residential.
No, no, no.
When all universities are starting, definitely, this hostel and issues will be there. So it won't be only a problem for Amet only. For all other colleges also, it is an issue. So that is why actually schools and colleges and universities are the last priority. Okay, but what happens? They might start off with alternate things or whatever. Some alternate they have to find out. Let's see. Fine. Okay, then, guys, we will stop with this. Okay, and we will see you in the next class.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, sir.
Yes, sir.